What up, guys? Carolina Jackpot checking in on Wednesday morning. It's about 6:30, making the drive in. So the college football magazines hit the shelves in the past few days, and I actually picked up two last night from Publix. Didn't get the third, but both these magazines, Athlon and Street and Smith, I think it is. I get the same magazines every year, and then I get the Phil Steele, of course, the Athlon magazine. They all have different covers in whatever region of the country you're in. They'll highlight a star player from said region. Of course, ours has Trevor Lawrence on the cover. The other one, one of those magazines had Justin Ross on the cover. Plays for Clemson. I won't be playing this year. I have some injuries, and it's going to require surgery. Prayers up to him. Hate to see anybody injured and can't play a season. That really sucks. Of course, the season was in jeopardy anyway, and now it's confirmed for him. So hopefully he can make a full recovery, and he'll get that medical red shirt or whatever. And I guess he'll either go to the NFL next year, or he'll come back and play another season. At any rate, South Carolina Gamecocks picked by both these magazines to finish 5th in the SEC East with a 6-6 record, 3-5 in the conference. So not a lot of difference there. Not a lot of wiggle room. Quite honestly, I think that they were picked a game higher than what I thought that they would give us, what they would adorn us with. I figured they'd be hung with a 5-7 record in overall, and 2-6 in the SEC. But surprised this gave us that 6th win, and I predicted bowl eligibility. Street and Smith predicts the Gamecocks to go to the Gator Bowl. The other magazine, Athlon, predicts the Gamecocks to go to the Music City Bowl, which I think is dumb. The Gamecocks have never been to the Music City Bowl, although these preseason magazines have predicted it at least for the past 5 years to go to Nashville for the Music City Bowl. So yeah, it ain't happening. Quite honestly, I'd be delighted just to make a bowl game. And right now, just saying you're delighted to make a bowl game, is that really where we need to be as a program? Is that the gold standard? Is that what we're shooting for? No, it's not. We're shooting to compete for the East. South Carolina football should be number 1, 2, or 3 in these preseason SEC East rankings, bar none. Tennessee is only preseason ranked number 3 in SEC East because they're the best of the shitty. They're the best of the worst. So these people think. I think some of these rankings are a little bit, I don't know. It's hard to judge. Hard to judge for one reason, because none of these teams got any spring practice in. Well, and then people sit there and say, well, if your team's experienced, you really don't need spring practice as much as, yes, you do. You most certainly do. Everybody was hampered by that. A lot of kinks can be worked out in spring practice. A lot of things can go wrong in spring practice. One thing that they did not, no one lost, and we lost any players spring practice. What I know, what we had, most teams had 3 or 4 days of it, maybe. Most years, somebody gets hurt in spring practice, and it affects the regular season. So there's that. But both these magazines are picking Florida over Georgia to win the SEC East. And I'm not so sure that that's not far-fetched. You're going to have, I wouldn't say necessarily better quarterback play, because Georgia is kind of an unknown at the quarterback position. I mean, they know what Jamie Newman can do, but how is he going to fit in with the Georgia system? How's that going to work out? Florida has a quarterback returning that just kind of came off the bench last year and really did a real good job in Kyle Trask, probably best tight end in the conference, and Kyle Pitts. That's the one that caught that last touchdown against us. Pitts. Screw you, Pitts. I'm just kidding. But, you know, it's just interesting, because I was thinking about that all winter long, that I think this might be the year finally that Florida gets these guys. We'll see. Florida's built for speed. I think a little bit more so than Georgia. And Georgia fans sitting there too, well, look at that recruiting class. I just think that Georgia's done a little bit less than what one would expect with all this talent that they've recruited. They've finished the top of the recruiting rankings, or very near the top, in at least the last 4 years since Kirby Smart's been there. Had great regular seasons, both in 2017, 18, and 19. So it's not both; that's all three. 3 years running, they lose one regular season game. Or heck, did they lose one in 2017? I don't think they did. I don't know. Yeah, they may have. Anyway, it's irrelevant. Yeah, I think they lost to Auburn. And we all know who they lost to last year. But they just haven't been able to put it together. Haven't been able to win the SEC championship once during that time, and only one return back to the playoffs. So we'll see. They've underwhelmed. They've just been this close to doing what they need to do to get back to the playoffs. Can they do it again? That remains to be seen. The lower half of this thing, Vanderbilt is picked by both unanimously to finish in last place. Be ushering in a new quarterback. They've lost some skill position players. Derek Mason, I think, is a good coach. Just saddled with a tough job. Not saddled with. He did take it, right? And I'm sure that he has improved the program there tremendously. They've improved the strength program. I think facilities have improved a little bit. They've done some good things there. Him building on top of James Franklin's success, but he hasn't really won at the level that James won at. Yeah, it's tough. Talking about letting him go if they don't, I don't know, at least win a couple of conference games and show some sort of life, so some sort of pulse. And I think that's unfortunate, but unfortunately, it is what it is. Looking at the rest of it, they're picking the Gamecocks. To go 3-5 in conference. I guess 3-1 in the non-conference. As that would be wins over Coastal Carolina, East Carolina, and Wofford, right? And of course, a loss to Clemson, because God knows with Will Muschamp as head coach, we won't get within 3 touchdowns of Clemson, or 2, or 3. Yeah, 3, because you got to punch out a garbage touchdown. But there's that. Your conference, I'm expecting them, the 3 wins, I guess, they are figuring would come from Missouri and Vanderbilt, and either a home win over the Voluntators. I'm going to start calling them the Voluntators. The Voluntators, or on the road against Kentucky. And I don't know. I guess I would lean a little bit more towards Kentucky on that one, because the way that South Carolina handled them last year. Kentucky fans on here sit here, they'll tell me, well, we didn't have no quarterback when y'all played us. If you'd played when we had Lynn Bowden Jr. playing quarterback, we'd have beat you by 4 touchdowns. Well, guess what? He ain't back in this year. He's not back. He's gone. It's interesting. 4-4 seems to be the conference record people are giving them in these magazines. Yet CBS Sports gives them a 2-6 conference prediction. I'm kind of leaning a little bit more towards that. I think they're kind of rebuilding a little bit on defense. Offensively, they got a couple of decent running backs coming back. A.J. Rose and I don't know how to say his name. It's like Kavasiasier Smoke. It's a good last name for a football player. Smoke. They got my Smoke coming back, which is good. The receiving core, a little bit to be desired. And Terry Wilson comes back as quarterback. He will battle it out, though, with the kid who was the only reason why South Carolina beat them 24-7 last year, Sawyer Smith, and Joey Gatewood, who was a transfer from Auburn, who lost out Bo Nix for that starting quarterback position job last year in the summer. I don't know. I just don't see it. I think they're kind of rebuilding a little bit. So we'll see. God dang, son. Get in your lane. You either get in the left lane or you get in the right lane, but you don't get to do both. You freaking idiot. What else? Oh, Tennessee. It's the popular choice. At 5-3, they have them in most circles going to the conference. I guess they got them losing to Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. We'll see. I mean, for them to be back, you're going to have to prove to me that you're back. Yes, they won some games last year toward the end of the season, but I mean, who did they really beat? I mean, did they really do anything impressive? They won the Gator Bowl against Indiana. I got this magazine, so I can go back and kind of look at everything now in a concise form. Looking at Indiana last year, they wasn't all that. None of their wins were impressive either last year, and they had some losses to crappy teams too. So, I ain't especially sold on them. You're losing Juwan Jennings and Marquez Callaway, right, at wide receiver. Who's going to step up and replace them? You got somebody set to replace them? I'm sure you do. Your offensive line, you do have a good offensive line returning. I will say that. Trey Smith, probably one of the best in the nation. As long as he stays healthy, they'll be good there. Quarterback position, so-so. Guarantano comes back again it seems like he's been there for 50 years. He's only been there 4. So we'll see what happens with that. The Maurer kid down it's the backup, and then they got some freshman coming in that's supposed to be the next best thing. So we'll see there. Running back position, they're pretty pedestrian. So 5-3, I think it's a little bit of a stretch. I think they lose the 3 above mentioned games I was talking about. They had dropped one to someone else too. They ain't going 4 or 5-3. So we'll see there. I think they would probably end up going 4-4. Well, I would probably put Kentucky at about 4-4. And Gamecocks either 3-5 or 2-6 in the conference. I don't see anything better than that right now at this point. I would love to say that I could, but I'm not going to be dumb and delusional and sit here and tell you that we're going to win 8 games when I don't think so. I don't think South Carolina's making the Music City Bowl. I don't think they're making the Gator Bowl like the other one did. In fact, I don't think that they're going to make a bowl. They've got the other team we didn't talk about there, Missouri. New coach. Everybody says, well, I'm not high on him because he didn't, he didn't really do anything at Appalachian State except go in there and win with someone else's players. Yes, he did. He was handed the keys to a Cadillac, and he just kind of held the Cadillac in the road. But the thing is, he held it in the road, He's got a lot of energy, and someone obviously saw something in him. They hired him. I think Missouri has a chance. You can laugh at me if you want to, but they have the potential to be a sleeping giant in the world of college football. They do. I mean, they could have that area of the country to themselves as far as recruiting. They lack some of things that some other teams have. I mean, I don't think that's a great atmosphere for a youngster to be in. Probably it's probably kind of a little bit boring. I do know that they upgraded their facilities a lot. They do have that. So, I think Missouri has some of the pieces in place, and I think Drinkowitz will do a good job there. They got to figure out the quarterback position. They return a running back who did a decent job last year for them, Larry Roundtree III. I believe he's coming back. I didn't read up on them too good. Don't hold me to that, but I believe that Larry's coming back. I think we'll beat Vanderbilt, but us beating them, I mean, it's not a given, folks. It is not a given that we will beat them. You know why? Why? Because Will Muschamp is the head coach, okay? And when you have Boom, all bad things are possible. They are all possible. I have sat here. I defended the man for 3 years. I stayed on his wagon. I was on his boom bus. I sat in the front seat for a couple of years, right behind the driver. And then the third year, in 2018, I kind of moved a little bit toward the back of the bus. Last year, I clearly stepped off the bus after the North Carolina game. I was done with the guy. I was done with his system, his coaches, his play call, his crappy vanilla ice cream style of play. I was just done with it. Done. And I'm still done. Did nothing to impress me last year. Beat Georgia. Yay. Whoop-de-doo. Great. Awesome. You also lost to App State at home, and you lost to Tennessee by 20. So I would have rather had those 2 wins than a win over Georgia. I would have. I just would have. Because, I mean, really, in the grand scheme of things, what did it gain us? It really gained us nothing. It really gained us nothing. Recruiting right now is absolutely in the toilet, and Gamecocks fans can sit here and tell me, calm down. It's only June. It's only May. It's only June. Yeah, it's only June. It's only July. It's only, you know what I'm saying? I mean, start picking up some steam quick, or things are going to fall apart in a hurry. So that's where I'm at. I'm telling you right now, my prediction would be 5-7, 2-6 in the conference. They're going to win from somewhere. I say they probably beat Missouri, but win on the road at Kentucky. I called a loss. I called a loss right now. You've had terrible misfortune against them there in the past. You haven't done well at Kentucky. At any point since we've been in the SEC, have we gone up there and blown Kentucky out? Maybe once in, I don't know, 1994 or something. We may have done such, but that's not a normal occurrence. I would give you the Missouri win, I guess. Like I said, but Tennessee game at home, I don't know. I think you find a way to lose that one. Texas A&M probably pretty good. You're not beating them. LSU on the road, put it up on the shelf. No, I don't think that we're going to be able to be competitive in the swamp against Florida. I think we probably could at home, but I don't see that one going our way either. In Georgia, we'll probably have it out for the Gamecocks this year because of the way they played in that game in 2019. So there you have it. I think 5-7 and 2-6 is probably about where we would land at. The magazines give us one more game, a little bit more love, and the magazines are, I think, a little bit off in their predictions, but we'll have to see. Anyway, guys, got to run. I will see you all later. Appreciate it. Peace. And I'm out. Go Gamecocks. Still bad prediction, but Spurs up to my toes up, baby. And fire boom. Woo!